So this is BlueGriffon. BlueGriffon is what is called a WYSIWYG web development program. Okay, WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. In other words, we can design on the screen and see how our web page will look, and then the HTML code and the CSS code will be created for us. So we don't have to remember all the codes that we have. So the first thing I'm going to do once I've opened BlueGriffon is I'm going to go make a new HTML file. Remember, HTML are the files that contain all the code for the basic layout and the basic content of the website. So I'm going to say file and new. And here I have a page called Untitled. Now, really, the first thing that we should do when we start is to go and save our page. So I'm going to say save, and it wants a title for the page. So I'm going to call it My First Page. And then it'll go and ask me where I would like to save that. Let me go and put it on my desktop. My desktop isn't a very good place, but I'm going to put it there for now. And so here I am. My first page.html is now saved. My first page is up here in the tab at the top because that's what I called my file, or the title I gave it, sorry. Down the bottom here, you can see the different views. So at the moment, I'm only looking at it in its WYSIWYG format. So I can see what is on the page. And if I go and type, you can see that the words come up on the page, and I can go and type whatever I like over there. And all is good. If I click on this button, which says source, I get the HTML code that goes with my page. Okay, so in the exam, I can create my document like this. I can then change to the source, and what they're going to ask you to do in the exam is to give a copy of your code. So I could either go and print this out, I think. I can just go file and print, and it'll print that out on a page for me, or they might ask me to go and copy this information and go and paste it into my evidence document. So I can get to the HTML of my page. Remember that there's two ways that I can see the page. I can see the HTML code, and I can see what it looks like when it's going to be in a browser, which is not actually this. This is my WYSIWYG editing window. If I want to look at it in a browser, I'm going to have to go and click on this button up here, and it'll open my Chrome or my Internet Explorer or whatever I have on my computer, and it'll show me what my web page is going to look like. So I can switch between those two things. And then I have this very handy little feature which is called dual view. And this is the way that I like to work. Now, in the exam, as I said, you can use a program like this. You don't have to be able to remember all of those codes. But the reason that we teach you those codes, and the reason that you have learned those codes in your book, is because in the exam, after you have printed this page, they're going to ask you to go through with a highlighting pen and highlight certain things in the code. So you don't need to be able to write the code, but you need to be able to read the code. And sometimes, as a web designer, you really have to go and edit this code and change things in there. So something might go very wrong, and the only way really to see what has happened is to have a look at the code. So it's very important that you understand what all of this code is about. So you can see here I've got a few paragraphs because they're in the P tag. I've got the head is over there. There's the title that I put in. And there is the body of my web page, and everything that I type on the page is going to appear inside the body. The head is going to be for the meta tags and for the titles and for things like linking it to the CSS. Okay, so that's the basics of how to set up an HTML page in BlueGriffon.